The studio lights were gone, the laughter had faded, and Jimmy Kimmel's chair on late-night television now sat empty. But silence was the last thing he planned to give the world. What began as cancellation became transformation, a comic stripped of his stage, turning the loss into the sharpest weapon of his career. When Donald Trump mocked his downfall, tweeting gleefully about terrible ratings and no talent, it should have been an insult too heavy to carry. Instead, Kimmel used it as fuel. There was no audience applause this time, no laugh track, just raw, unfiltered truth. Yeah, he began, in a video that spread faster than any monologue he'd ever delivered. Did you ever think the President of the United States would celebrate someone's unemployment? I mean that son of a... He stopped, grinning. Mr. Son of a... His Royal Highness of Hypocrisy. The crowd online exploded. The very man who had supplied Kimmel with a decade of jokes had now become the punchline of his greatest one. You can't turn him off, Kimmel continued. He just keeps going. One day he's paving over the Rose Garden, the next he's declaring himself host of the Kennedy Center Honors. And every single piece of it is fair game. Trump had imagined that canceling a comedian would silence him. But instead, Kimmel's voice became louder, free from network constraints, sharper than any late-night censor would have allowed. Every absurdity in Trump's orbit, from the Golden Ballroom to his bizarre fixation with Vladimir Putin, became material for Kimmel's new crusade of comedy. Then came the post that broke the internet. Trump bragged online, "I absolutely love that Colbert got fired. His talent was even less than his ratings." Kimmel responded simply, "Would an untalented man be able to compose the following satirical masterpiece? Go yourself." It wasn't just defiance, it was reclamation of humor, dignity, and truth. Kimmel turned Trump's obsession with ratings into a roast that cut deep. "Imagine the humiliation," he smirked. "My canceled show is trending higher than your rally. It's like losing a shouting match with a mime." Even without a network, Kimmel was winning the internet. His live streams drew millions, his quotes flooded headlines, and for the first time, a comedian without a platform had a louder voice than the most powerful man in America. He dove deeper, peeling back Trump's contradictions like layers of bad makeup. "He loves America," Kimmel said, "the way a landlord loves rent checks." The crowd roared as he exposed the hypocrisy. The offshore factories, the self-worship masked as patriotism, the fake bravado built on fear. But Kimmel wasn't done. He tackled the darker irony of Trump's followers, twisting tragedy for politics. "We hit some new lows," he said somberly. "They're defending a killer because admitting the truth would cost them votes. That's not loyalty. That's rot." The comedian who once delivered jokes from behind a desk was now wielding truth like a blade. Trump's fragile ego, his late-night rants on Truth Social, his fake fan accounts praising him at 3 a.m., all of it became ammunition. "You think you're invincible?" Kimmel taunted. "You're the reality show star who can't handle reality." Every jab chipped away at the illusion of power Trump had built. Every punchline landed like a verdict. Then came the government's involvement. When asked about Kimmel's supposed free speech violations, even political commentators smirked. "Is it lawful or lawless to silence satire?" one host asked. The answer was simple: lawless. "Exactly," Kimmel replied. "Free Jimmy Kimmel." The phrase caught fire online. Hashtags flooded Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. Memes painted Kimmel as the jester who outlasted the king. Meanwhile, Trump continued spiraling, attacking networks, comedians, even award shows. "Kimmel has zero talent," he raged. "Worse ratings than Colbert. NBC should fire the rest." But every insult backfired. Kimmel used them as punchlines, each one sharper than the last. "He says I have no talent," Kimmel grinned. "But somehow I still manage to live rent-free in his head. And it's a very small apartment." He reminded America what satire was for. Not cruelty, but clarity. "A president who can't take a joke," he said, "isn't just insecure, he's dangerous. Because if he can silence a comedian, he can silence anyone." By the end of the week, what started as one man's cancellation had turned into a nationwide conversation about power, truth, and the price of free speech. Trump's presidency, Kimmel declared, was a blooper reel with executive privilege. And somehow, even without a desk or a camera crew, he managed to deliver the truest episode of his career. Jimmy Kimmel had been canceled, but he hadn't been silenced. He had become what Trump feared most, a mirror. And in that reflection, America laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was finally honest.